Okay, I want to talk about cynicism today because I think it shows up in our lives more than we realize, and maybe in ways we didn't always notice at first. For me, cynicism isn't usually this big, loud thing. It's more like this quiet whisper. That thought of, yeah, good things happen, but probably not for me. Or when life keeps handing you one hard thing after another, and suddenly you catch yourself thinking, of course, what's next? It can't get any worse. And before you even realize it, that heaviness starts bleeding into the other parts of your life. Now, I wouldn't call myself a naturally cynical person. I'm actually the opposite. I dream big, I see possibilities everywhere, but I've had seasons where life has knocked the wind out of me. Seasons where I wasn't staying as connected to God as I needed to be, and little by little, cynicism started creeping in. And that's why I wanted to have this conversation today. Not because I have all the answers, trust me, I don't, but because I've seen the way gratitude has softened my heart and helped me keep hoping when I wanted to give up. And maybe it can do the same for you. Hey friend, I'm Jessica, and this is With My Whole Heart. I'm a real-life woman juggling a lot of real-life things, raising girls, running a hair salon, chasing big dreams, and doing my best to stay grounded through it all. If you've ever found yourself in the thick of it, somewhere between who you've been and who you're becoming, this space is for you. Here, we talk about the middle, the messy, meaningful, beautiful middle. The big leaps, the small wins, the hard lessons, and the heart-led pivots. From business and beauty to faith, motherhood, and everything in between, nothing's off limits. So grab your coffee or your tea, get cozy, and let's dive in. Because this journey, we're walking it together with our whole hearts. One of the hardest seasons of my life was when we were trying to get pregnant. And I know so many of you can relate to this, whether your story looks like mine or not. With Genevieve, it was month after month, year after year of hoping, praying, and waiting, and nothing. I remember thinking, what am I doing wrong? Why isn't this happening? We eventually went to an infertility specialist because honestly, we just didn't know what else to do. And after help from the doctors, a little bit of medication, a lot of prayer, and honestly, just being a part of God's timing and plan, we were finally able to conceive Genevieve and welcome her into our family. But little did I know, I would walk through almost the exact same battle again when we tried for our second. With Emmeline, it took us a little over 3 years to get pregnant, and there were these long, dry stretches where I felt like time was moving forward, but nothing was happening. And I'll be honest with you, that's when cynicism started creeping in for me. I can still remember those little whispers. Of course it's happening for everyone else but me. And honestly, there was resentment. There was jealousy. Watching people around me get pregnant so easily while we were in this constant season of waiting, my heart ached. I believed God was good, but I stopped expecting him to move for me. I stopped dreaming about what could be because it felt safer to protect my heart than to hope again. And maybe you've been there. Maybe for you, it's not pregnancy. Maybe it's something completely different, a dream that feels delayed, a prayer you've been carrying for years, or a season that's been so much heavier than you imagined. That space between what you're hoping for and what you're living through can feel really, really lonely. And that's the thing about cynicism. It tricks us into believing we're protecting ourselves. But in reality, it closes us off from joy, from peace, and sometimes even from God's voice. And when that happens, we start missing the little glimpses of his goodness that are right in front of us. I'll never forget one Sunday at church during that season of waiting. I walked in carrying so much disappointment and frustration, honestly feeling a little numb that day. And then this worship song started playing and the lyrics stopped me in my tracks. They were, "You have planted dreams in the good soil of my heart. I know it's just a start. Give me patience. Pour over these seeds the water of your plans, My life is in your hands, my foundation. And oh my gosh, I lost it, like full on ugly crying in the middle of worship. Those words, it was like God was sitting right there next to me whispering, I see you, I planted something good in you, and I'm not done yet. Be patient. That moment changed something for me. I clung to those lyrics. They became this little mantra I carried with me. God, you've planted good things in me. Help me trust you and give me patience. Even before we had answers, even before the prayers were fulfilled, gratitude started shifting something inside me. It didn't make the waiting easy, but it softened my heart just enough to notice God's presence again, in small ways, in quiet moments, in little reminders of his faithfulness. That's why I love Philippians 4:6-7 so much. It says, do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God, and the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. That little phrase, with thanksgiving, I think that's the key. Gratitude positions our hearts to receive God's peace. It opens us up even when our circumstances haven't changed yet. Another thing I've learned about cynicism, it's contagious. You can be a naturally positive, hopeful person, but if you're constantly surrounded by people who live in negativity, who always expect the worst, or who see life through a cynical lens, it can start rubbing off. Without even realizing it, you can find yourself carrying those same thought patterns. Now, I'm not saying you have to cut those people out of your life. That's not my heart here. But I am saying pay attention. Notice how you feel when you leave certain conversations or environments. Do you leave feeling lighter, encouraged, inspired, or do you leave feeling heavy, drained, maybe even frustrated? Because here's the thing, cynicism spreads, but so does hope. So does gratitude, and so does joy. And here's the beautiful part. You actually have the power to shift the atmosphere around you. You can be the one who brings light into the room. You can remind people of God's goodness even in the middle of a hard season. It's just about staying anchored so you're influencing and not absorbing. I want to pause and say this. I know gratitude sounds simple, but when life feels heavy, it's not always easy. So if this feels hard for you right now, you're not failing, you're human. Gratitude isn't about pretending everything's fine or forcing yourself to be happy. It's about finding little ways to notice God's goodness right where you are, and here are a few things that have helped me. Just start small. I write down 3 little things I'm grateful for every morning, and honestly, some days it's as simple as coffee and sunshine. Say it out loud. Throughout the day, I thank God for little things, even tiny ones, and somehow that shifts my whole posture. Flip the narrative. When frustration sets in, I pause and ask, okay, but where can I see God's hand in this? That's one question has changed everything for me. Pray with gratitude first. This is a huge one. Before I ask God for anything, I start by thanking him for where he's already been faithful. It changes my heart every single time. If you're in a season right now where life feels heavy, where hope feels distant, or where cynicism has slowly crept in, I want you to know you are not alone. I've been there too. I've walked through long seasons of waiting. I've prayed the same prayers over and over, wondering if God even heard me. And while gratitude doesn't erase the pain, it changes how we carry it. It softens our hearts. It reminds us that God is still good, still faithful, and still writing our story. So my prayer for you this week is simple, that you'd start noticing even the smallest glimmers of his goodness, that gratitude would meet you right where you are and gently lead you back to hope. Until next time, I'm sending this out to you with my whole heart. Thank you for spending this time with me today. Your time is valuable, and I'm honored you spent it here. I hope something in this conversation met you right where you are. If it stirred something in your spirit or spoke to your heart, I'd truly love to hear about it. My DMs are always open. I love connecting with you. And as you go, just remember, you're not walking through this life alone. Until next time, stay grounded, keep showing up, and keep leaning into the purpose that's been placed on your heart. I'll be right here, cheering you on with my whole heart.